Then we have Jeong Yeong Lee taking on Zha Yi. Jeong Yeong Lee is 9-1 overall. 5-0 in his last 5. He is riding a nice 6-fight win streak. Zha Yi is 21-3 overall, 4-1 in his last 5 with a professional career spanning 24 fights. I think he has the most experience of anybody else on this in this tournament. And he's not really getting the credit for it. The dude's a plus 211 underdog. He opened at a plus 250, so some money has come in on him in the last week and a half or whenever these lines opened up. But Zha Yi, he's a powerful grappler. He uses kicks to manage his range. He works in close, gets his hand on you, drags you to the ground. He's super strong. He does a really good job just picking you up. He will work in close and just take you off the mat and then bring you down. And once he hits the ground, he's just looking for a submission. His stats are off. When we go to the next slide here, you'll see that he's got 12 takedowns per fight average. That's just because he gets the takedown, tries to hop on something, doesn't get it, his opponent stands up, and that cycle just repeats itself. He's not actually getting 12 full-blown takedowns, but he's just having a hard time keeping people down. Jeong Yeong Lee is a really well-rounded guy. He's got a loose striking style. He manages range really well, solid takedowns, grappling. He's just super long for the division. He uses that length well and walks people down, but he is hittable. He keeps his hands low, but he's got a solid enough chin, and then he does have grappling if he needs it. This is another fight. I think it's closer than the odds. I like Lee here. Lee's going to be the pick. But, frankly, if Zha Yi comes in, works to the cage, picks him up, he can get the takedowns and he can grind out a win. But I think Jeong Yeong Lee is going to be the much better striker. And I think that's sort of going to be the difference here. But I'm not betting on this fight because, frankly...
Oh my God, bless you.
It was a cough. There's too many unknowns. One guy has way more experience, the grappling edge. The other guy is super long but super loose. There's a lot going on here. This is probably an under 2.5 round play, frankly, and not a money line play. What do you think?
I actually agree, but I disagree as well. What you said about Lee having the advantage on the feet, I think is definitely a big advantage. And if you're looking at the road to the UFC fights, the 4 specific fights, just those 4, I think this is the biggest mismatch of the 4. And I'm not saying that Zha Yi is not a good fighter. He's a very well-rounded fighter. It feels like Lee is just on that next level in every step. And you're going to see that especially in the striking, in the confidence, honestly, and definitely in the power. So, I mean, this fight's going to start. You're going to see Jeong Yeong Lee walking forward, very confident, hands low. He does brawl, Angelo. You were exactly right. He does get hit because he's not like a super clean striker. He will hit you clean, but he does like to brawl a little bit. He will stay in the pocket. So there will be opportunities for Yi in this matchup, but I just feel like Lee is just so much better everywhere, especially the confidence and ability in the striking. I think this is a mostly striking matchup, and I think this is the most lopsided of the two. So I think the odds are right on par, minus 250. That's kind of where I would put that at. And I think Lee finds a finish in this fight fairly, somewhat early. It's a 2.5 line. It's minus 210. I'm actually a little bit surprised it's not a 1.5, honestly. But I think Lee gets this.
Well, and we said it before. A lot of these fights, I think, are going to go under. Obviously, 1.5 is always tricky, but the 2.5 rounds on the round lines on these tournament finals, I think the unders are probably decent plays just because they're going to go at it. They're trying to win these contracts. It's just the biggest fight of their careers, and a lot of them are very inexperienced. Zha Yi is very experienced. The rest of them are very inexperienced and, may make mistakes. They haven't truly been tested yet.
Yeah, we were talking about I think their last fights was the first time ever in a cage. Most of them are used to fighing in like boxing rings and stuff. So even knowing how to work against the cage they've learned that in this last 6 months.
Yeah, there's a lot of variables here for sure, which just sort of feeds into betting the under on some of these round lines. $8,900 for Lee. I agree. The skill gap on their feet is much wider than if it ends up in grappling against the cage, stuff like that. But it's another spot. Am I $9,000 almost confident in DraftKings for Lee? I don't know. There's so many, and I'm more conservative than most across the board. I just, it's just hard for me to lay it out on. He's not
I'll
like
lay
a
it out
killer.
everywhere. I mean, I'll pull it out and slop it on anything. He asked me to.
I'm not asking you to. Nobody.
It's always consensual.
Nobody has this. Nobody has
Well,
asked you
nobody is. Nobody is a lot of people. You know, I think there's 8 billion people in the world these days. I think they moved it from 7 to 8. So
to. Just
things are looking up for me. That's a billion other people.
Yeah, well.
Should happen any time.
You spending the $8,900 in DraftKings?
Honestly, I think I am. Yeah, I've seen enough on the feet, and I think the skill gap is big enough on the feet that Lee finds this finish. I have a bet on this fight as well for premium members, and I feel good about it.
Well, if you want to unlock that bet, WeWantPicks.com at the top. Click become a member. This Monkey Knife Fight strike line 40 to 30. I like the more there. That's not very much. These guys are going to go at it. They're featherweights. Lee is busy. Zha Yi is going to try to close that distance, touch Lee up, try to get him to the cage, try to get the takedown. So I think there is a good amount of contact here. And I like the over 40.5, over 30.5 strikes. Again, this is total strikes, not significant strikes. So it's anything, pitter patter, everything counts. So I like the more and more there. Do you as well?
I could see the more and more.
All right. Well, if you guys want to give
the less.
You want to give that a crack, WeWantPicks.com/MKF. They will instantly match your deposit. You give them $20, they give you 20. You give them 100, they give you 100. Take the free money, play some of these lines, and if you lose, you miss, who cares? It was their money. If you win, well, you have even more free money than you did before.